This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, just a quick recap of what we have done till now in our 4 sessions, and then we will start with our new session. Okay, so we understood what exactly is SAP, right? We understood what are the different versions of SAP. Okay, different versions means different products from all these years. We understood S4 HANA, ECC, before that there was R3, right? So those were the different versions of SAP or different products from SAP. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Yes,
Yes, we
yes.
can hear you.
Okay, I think server got disconnected. Just give me a minute. Okay, so we understood what is SAP. We understood what are the different products from SAP. We understood what exactly is SAP S4 HANA. We understood what is SAP HANA and how it is faster, why it is faster. And in our last session, we understood what is SAP ASAP, what is SAP Activate, differences between ASAP and Activate. So overall till now, we also understood differences between ECC and SAP S4 HANA. Right? Any questions in any of these topics before we start our new topic today? What we are going to do today is we'll talk about what is Fiori. Okay, how Fiori looks like, what are the difference between the old screens that we were using from years in SAP and how Fiori is different. And second topic that we will discuss today, if time permits, we will talk about the enterprise structure in SAP. So this will be today's both the sessions. We are not going to have on PPTs or the Word document. These are starting from today, everything would be in the system itself. So what is Fiori and how enterprise structure looks from FICO, MM, and SD side. We will try to configure the enterprise structure from FICO, MM, and SD, which we'll be using throughout the course. Any question before I go to our next topic, that is what is Fiori? I hope everyone is clear with all these topics.
Hello, Vikram.
Yeah, Akshay.
Yeah, you asked us to go through SAP best practices to check those links you shared.
Right.
But yeah, but I'm unable to go after a limit because it is asking me S user ID. I'm not sure what is it. It is saying
Right,
you are.
right. So, yes, if you want to access the content of SAP, whatever links I provided to you, you need the S user ID and password. So if you don't have, you have to create it. It is very straightforward to create it
Yeah,
actually.
I've created one, but it's kind of saying it's P user ID and you have to enter your S user ID, which will be provided by your company. So
Right, right. So that is the problem. See, what happens is some of the content is public, okay, which means anyone can go and anyone can watch. For example, SAP Activate. In SAP Activate, it is not asking you the user ID, right? It is showing you all the content. But when it comes to the base practices, some of the content of the base practices is only available for those consultants who are currently working with a particular customer. So customer will be providing you the S user ID and password, and that S user ID and password will help you to get that content. But what I'll do is maybe once we are in one-to-one session for MMSD and FICO, all the relevant best practices I'll be providing you. Okay, so at least the main best practices which you need throughout your whenever you are working on the project or throughout this course, those best practices I will download and I'll provide it to you.
Yeah, thanks. That will be great.
Yeah, but Activate and all you have went through, right? That you are able to access.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
What is the difference between SID and PID?
Actually, within SAP, there are a lot of different user types whenever you register with SAP. So based on whether you are certified or you are working on a project or you are using a customer ID, so accordingly SAP provides you different kind of IDs.
Because when I have tried to create a S user ID and I got P user ID, so I got confused.
No, there should not be any problem. Whatever you got on, only thing is if the content is available, that is good. If the content is not available, then definitely maybe you have to wait till I provide you that content.
Okay, okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so let us now start our discussion on what exactly is Fiori. So we already discussed what is SAP Fiori, but we have not seen it practically. Any idea what is Fiori? We already discussed this multiple times during our previous sessions.
It is an interface.
It is a
Uh,
new user interface.
yeah,
Yes,
user interface presentation layer.
right. It is a presentation layer, 100%. So if I take you to the system, okay, so this is our system, and if I connect to SAP server, so maybe from next week onwards, you will be getting the server access also, and we will send you the instructions how to connect to the SAP server. So once you are connected to the server, you will be able to see this SAP logon pad. Okay, not only in this server, if you are working in your company also, your administrator will give you they will install this application on your PC, and then when you double click on this kind of screen will get opened. It is called as SAP logon pad. Now in this SAP logon pad, you will be getting different servers. For example, let's assume you joined a company, you joined Accenture or Infosys or maybe some any other consulting company, and you are working with multiple projects. Okay, so for example, you are working with Reliance and you are working with Amazon, just for example. Okay, so every company will have their own SAP systems, right? So here you will be able to see different SAP systems based on which clients you want to work on. Again, within the single client itself, let's say within Reliance itself, you may get different systems. Okay, you may get one system which is related to testing, one system related to training, third system which is actually production system which is being used by the users. So there are multiple different systems you'll be able to see here. So you need to check which system is related to you and you need to double click on that system. In my case, you can see this is ECC system. This is SAP S4 HANA system. Okay, so if I want to log into ECC, I will double click on this. This will open the SAP ECC server. And if I want to log into SAP S4 HANA, I will be double clicking on this and this will open my SAP S4 HANA login pad. Okay, so normally, whenever you will be working on a new project, your team will send you the details how to connect to that server. So you will be getting this SAP logon pad and you yourself can register multiple servers on this logon pad. For example, if I click on this and if I change this, You can see this is the detail that you need. In order to connect to the server, you need the application server name, you need the instance number, and you need the system ID. So these are the three important information which you will get from your technical team whenever you want to create a new server here. So you'll click on the new button, new connection. Okay, just you can see user specified system. Let's say next. This is where you need to enter the details. So you need to ask your technical team, what is my application server? What is my instance number? What is my system ID? And what is my, if required, what is my S router string? Okay, once you enter all these details, you can click on finish. You'll be able to see the new server here. For example, let's take this itself. So I'm copying this application server 12 and ECC. So what I'll do is I'll click on new connection. Next, here I will write the application server. This is the text, whatever description you want to give, whatever name you want to give. So this is my SAP S4 HANA system. Instance number was 02, right? So whatever was the instance number, you need to write the instance number here. Sorry? 12. Okay, instance number 12 and system ID ECC. You just need to click on finish. You will be able to see that third server also has been added. Although these two are same, but it is up to you. You can see the description you have provided to remember which server you want to connect. Okay, and if this is correct, if you enter the correct application, then only it will work. Okay, so if I change it to 02 and if 02 instance doesn't exist at all, then what will happen is I will get an error that there is no such system. See, system is not able to connect to that server because that server doesn't exist at all. So it is very important, whatever information you are getting, you'll be getting a mail that this is a application server, this is an instance ID, this is a system ID. Accordingly, you need to enter all these details and you need to create a new connection. Okay, in many companies, when you join, they will give you all these things by default, but it is very good practice that you know this. Okay, because many times I have seen many consultants who have 6 months, 1 year of experience, but on day one, when we ask them to uh, create this connection, they are not sure how to do it. So that will create a very wrong impression because you must know all these basic things. This is not related to any module. If you are SAP consultant, you must know that everything will works from the SAP logon, and in SAP logon how to create the new connections. Similarly, you can delete also. So you can select this and you can delete also. So maybe some old servers, or maybe you got released from one of the project and you don't want to unnecessarily see that project here. So you can select here and you can delete this. Okay. So now let me start with the system. We already discussed earlier that whenever you come to the logon pad, you will be able to see the client, you'll be able to see the user ID, password, and the language. I told you there are more than 25-30 languages which are supported by SAP. So based on from which country you are operating, which language you are more comfortable with, you can select that particular language. Okay. The same team who will be giving you the server details, application server details, instance number, system ID, same team will also give you your user ID and password also to log into this particular system. So for example, my user ID is this one. So as I told you, next week onwards, I'll be providing you the user IDs and passwords. So you have to enter those user IDs and password. Then only you'll be able to connect to the system. Okay. Once you are in this SAP Easy Access screen, so whatever I'm showing you currently, these are very old screens. This is not Fiori. This is the old GUI. Fiori is a new GUI, right? If you see this old GUI, how the things works is depending upon your module. So if you are coming from FICO point of view, you will go to accounting. Within accounting, you'll be able to see financial accounting. And within that, you will be able to see all your submodules like general ledger accounting, AR, AP, bank accounting, and fixed assets. Similarly, if you are coming from the logistics background, you will go to logistics. You will be able to see your modules here, like materials management, sales and distribution. So if you go to materials management, these are the submodules: purchasing, inventory management, physical inventory, valuation, MRP. These are some of the submodules within materials management. Same way, if you go to sales and distribution, you would be able to see sales, shipping, billing, credit management. So these are some of the modules within sales and distribution.
So Vikram, this GUI and this Launchpad, this is applicable only for on-premise, right? It's not for cloud system. We don't need this, all right?
Right. So if you are using on-premise system, in that case only you have the option to use this old GUI. New GUI, which we are talking about Fiori, is the only way to connect to cloud. For cloud, you will not be getting this access. For cloud, you would not be able to access through this. This is also called as GUI. So old GUI is not applicable for cloud customers. Customers who are going for SAP S4 HANA Cloud, they will not be using this old GUI. They will be only using Fiori. You're right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so if you are using SAP on-premise system, then you will be able to see this old GUI where you'll be able to see all your transactions here. So this is a screen which is normally used by the SAP end users. They will be using the screen to perform all their transactions. But as a consultant, most of the activities you will be doing using transaction SPRO. Okay, SPRO is a transaction which you will be using to set up the system, to configure the system. Okay, again in SPRO, you'll be able to see financial accounting, you'll be able to see materials management, sales and distribution. So all the modules which are available to the end user can be configured from SPRO screen. It is also called as implementation guide. IMG is nothing but implementation guide. Okay, so this is one way of using the GUI. This is one way of the presentation server. So you can do the transactions using these older screens. These screens are almost same from last 30 years. Okay, so for example, even SAP provided transaction codes. Just for example, what are transaction codes now? So if I want to create a purchase order, what I can do is I can go to logistics, materials management, purchasing, purchase order, create, and then I'll be able to create a purchase order. So every time if I want to create a purchase order, I have to go to this path. What I can do two, three things here. Number one, I can right click here and say add to favorites. Okay, what this will do, you can see these are my favorites folder. It will bring that ME21 and transaction to create a purchase order in my favorites. So this is uh, one way of making sure that you don't need to go to these details. So this is one kind of shortcut to have whatever things you want to do on day-to-day basis, you can add to the favorites. Second way is if you remember the transaction code. So for example, the transaction code for this activity is ME21N. So if you come here and enter your transaction code ME21N and press enter, system will automatically take you to that particular screen. So almost each and every activity that you do, okay, if you go to accounting, within general ledger accounting, document entry, again you can see there is a transaction code and then there is a name of this activity. So if I want to enter the GL account document, I can use transaction FB50. So again, if I want to avoid all these things, I can right click, I can add to favorites, or if I remember the transaction code, I can directly go to FB50. Okay, so it is opening enter GL account document. Right, so these are the different ways in which you can access, or these are the different ways in which you can do the transactions in SAP using the old GUI. So in old GUI, you can add the things into your favorites, or you can remember the transaction codes. Okay, sometimes maybe whenever you log in, you may not be able to see these transaction codes at all. The reason is from extras, I think technical settings, no, settings, extras, settings, you can see this box should be ticked, display technical names. If I untick this, okay, now if you try to open any application, general ledger, document entry, you can see the transaction code is not appearing. Okay, so it is very important that if you want to remember the transaction codes, initially for few months till the time you don't get yourself comfortable with the transaction codes, you should go to extras, okay, in settings, and tick on this indicator, display the technical names. Okay, so now if you again go back, accounting, financial accounting, general ledger, document entry, you can see the transaction codes are again back. Okay, so this is how you can bring the transaction codes if they are not by default available in your system. Okay, so this is the one way. Just now I shown you two different things. Maybe let me show you one more thing from the sales point of view. So let's assume I want to create a sales order. I will go to logistics. Within logistics, I will open the sales and distribution. And within sales and distribution, I will go to sales. You can see I can create an inquiry, I can create a quotation, and I can create a sales order. So if I open the order, you can see VA01 is a transaction code to create a sales order. Okay, so this is the older way of performing the transactions in SAP. Older means this was normally done in SAP ECC. Although in S4 HANA, SAP came up with the new GUI, which is Fiori, but even today also 80% or more than 80 to 85% of the customers are still using these screens. So the question is, what should you learn? Going forward, maybe after 5 years from today, nobody would be using this old screens. Everybody would be using Fiori. But today, if you see the current market, in current market, you have to understand both. Okay, so if you just understand Fiori, and if a customer is not using Fiori, you need to understand how GUI works. Same way, if you just understand Fiori and your customer is not ready to use Fiori as of today, then you need to understand this. So both are important. If you understand this, if your customer is using Fiori, then that is also not sufficient. So we have to understand both. We have to understand the old GUI as well as the new GUI. Okay, so what we will do is process will remain same. Presentation can be, just for example, if you want to book a ticket, you can do it from your mobile device, or you can do it from your IRCTC website. You can do it from the app, or you can do it from the website. Ultimately, process will not change. Okay, it is just a difference in the screen. So what we need to do is, first thing, we have to complete end-to-end process using this old GUI. Once we complete the end-to-end process, there will be 1 or 2 sessions where we will try to do the same process using Fiori, so that you are also comfortable that how to do the transactions using Fiori screens, right? But ultimately, at the end, we should know how to do the transaction from the old GUI, and we should also know how to do the transactions from Fiori. Okay, so these are the old screens. If I just show you ME21N to create a purchase order, you can see this, how this old screen looks like. If I give this to you, okay, just assume you don't know anything about SAP, or you just joined as an end user, and if I tell you this is a screen, go and create a purchase order. All right, it is not very easy to understand. You can see how many tabs, you can see how many fields. It is very difficult. So to provide the training to the end user also is a very difficult task if I'm using old GUI. Okay, but if you see what SAP came up with now in terms of new GUI, you will find it is simple to use. Number two, let's assume you are a consultant or you are an end user and you are at your home, you got a call from your management that we need to create a purchase order immediately. Okay, let's assume you don't have the company laptop. Normally you use a desktop in your company. So what you need to do, if you get a call and you want to create a purchase order, first of all, the question is, do you have this SAP logon pad in your system? In your home system, I mean. Normally not. Normally we don't install all these applications and we don't connect. Even some of the companies will even not allow you to connect from home. Right? So if you double click also, it will say connection not possible. So the question is, how will you do the transaction? So important thing is, if you are using old GUI, first of all, you need to install this software, SAP Logon software. Okay, then you need to connect to the system. But if you are using Fiori, there is no need to download anything in your system. Okay, there is no need to install anything in your system. It is just a web link. Okay, if you just go to Google Chrome or any other web browser, you can see this. For example, this is Logon, which is under my favorites. So this is a link. This is a web link. If I give you this web link, you can access it from anywhere. You just need to provide your user ID. You need to provide your password. You don't need a company laptop. You don't need anything to be installed. Only thing is, this should be allowed by your company. So we are not saying this is not secured. This is also secured. If your company is not allowing you to access this link, then even you will not be able to access it from your other laptop also. Right? But you don't need to install at least this software. No software needs to be installed. You just need this link and you can come here and you can enter your user ID, password, language, and click on log on. Clear? Any questions?
So Vikram, is complete SPRO is available on Fiori?
No, I'll come to that, Deepak. Just give me
Okay.
a few minutes. I'll talk about that. So as of now, this Fiori is only available for end users. As a consultant, we may need to do some activities which are not available on Fiori. So we have to, SPRO is still available for the consultants. Most of the time, consultants will spend on SPRO itself. There are few activities which are available for consultants also on Fiori, but still most of the activities are still supported from SPRO itself. So as a consultant, see, when we are talking about Fiori, we should not, consultants are just doing the setup. They are not actually using the business system, right? When SAP wants to improve something, they don't want to improve how the consultants will work. They want to improve how the company will be benefited, how the end users will be benefited, right? So the first target is to improvise the user interface for the end users. But yes, some of the activities which we were doing through SPRO, those also can be done using Fiori. Okay, so here the same user ID and password, what you are able to use in your old GUI, same user ID and password will work. Only thing is, you can see here, it is not asking us for client. If I go to the old GUI, whenever you double click, it asks you a client. Okay, it is asking you client, it is asking you user, it is asking you password, and it is asking you language. But here it is not asking you client. What could be the reason? The link that is provided to you by your basis and technical team, that itself has the client details. So if you have 2 or 3 different clients, there will be the separate link which will be provided by your basis team. Okay, so your basis team or technical team will provide you different links for different servers for different clients, and that is the reason there is no need to enter the client here. System already knows that which client you are trying to connect to by using this link itself. Okay, so once you enter your user ID and password, you can just click on log on and it will open the Fiori Launchpad. So similar to in the old GUI, we call it as a home page. When you enter your user ID and password, it opens the home page, which is also called as SAP Easy Access. Similarly, if I click on log on here, you can see this is the way how SAP Fiori looks like. Okay, so if I want to do any transaction, for example, if I want to post a accounting entry, okay, you can see post journal entries. If I want to create a sales order, if I want to create a purchase order, only thing is this is role based. This SAP Fiori screen is completely role based. What do you mean by role based? So if I don't have the access to the particular application, for example, if I'm an accountant, I should not be able to create a sales order. So I'll not be able to see any sales order related application here. It is only showing me all the applications related to finance. Okay, but if I assign my user ID the role which is related to sales, or if I assign my user ID the role which is related to purchasing, then I'll be also able to see the purchasing related and sales related applications here. Let me see if I'm able to see anything related to purchase and sales. So sales configuration is there, but let's come down. See, as of now, it is not showing me anything related to sales and purchase, only configurations, but it is not end user wise. It is not showing me create purchase order, create sales order. All those things are not visible. What is the reason? The reason is I don't have those SAP roles assigned to my user ID. Okay, so based on the user, currently I logged in with my user ID Vikram. Now Vikram may be the accountant, and it is not necessary that Vikram will be having all the access. As a business user, you are not supposed to have all the access. You will be only getting the access of those applications for which you are responsible. Okay, so how will I assign the related roles? Normally,
We
if you are
can't,
working in a company, yeah,
and we can't see the technical names as well, Vikram, no?
you will not be able to see the technical names also. Technical names will not work in Fiori.
Oh, okay.
In Fiori, there is no concept of technical names. You have to use the styles.
So the people who are using cloud-based system, how they will go to SPRO?
Okay, good question. If you remember, I told you what is the restriction with cloud?
You
How
can't
cloud
do
is
much configuration.
Cannot modify anything. You just have to use whatever SAP provided.
right. So if you are using cloud, most of the settings you have to follow whatever is provided by whatever is provided by SAP. So that is the reason SPRO access is not given to you at all in case of cloud. Okay, but still there can be some small changes that you want to make, even if SPRO is not available. If you want to make some small changes, for that you don't need to go to SAP. For that reason itself, SAP has provided some configurations, like you can see the sales configuration, you can see the purchasing configuration. So some of the configurations are provided in cloud also using Fiori, but 100% for sure, no SPRO access in case of cloud. Clear, Deepak?
Yes, Vikram, thanks.
Yeah, SPRO access will not be provided at all if you are using cloud. SPRO is only available for on-premise. So my recommendation would be, Deepak, don't get confused with cloud at this stage, because just understand, see, irrespective of whether it is on-premise or cloud, functionalities are same, standard functionalities are same. So whatever we will be doing in FICO, whatever we'll be doing in MM, whatever we'll be doing in SD, ultimately everything has to be configured and it has to be used using the transaction codes or maybe using the SAP Fiori screens. So the first thing is we need to understand the end-to-end business processes. Irrespective, this end-to-end business processes will work on-premise also and it will work on cloud also. The only difference would be that whenever you are working on the cloud, you have many restrictions. You cannot change the system as per your requirement. You cannot take a control of the system. But otherwise, functionality wise, everything will remain same. Even these applications which I'm showing you on Fiori, those also 99% of the applications are same. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now the question is, as I told you, currently it seems that all my applications which are appearing, those are only related to finance. So what happens is you need to provide the role to the user IDs. This is normally done by your basis team. So again, if you are part of the project, you will not be getting the access to this transaction called as SU01. Transaction code SU01 is a transaction where you need to assign the roles to your user ID, which is normally done by your basis and security team. So this is my user ID. I will click on the change mode, and you can see this is where the roles are assigned to me. Okay, you can see currently all the roles related to cash manager, cash specialist, GL account, maybe AP, AR, those roles are provided to me, and that is the reason I am able to see all the accounting related transactions. But let's assume if I remove these roles, if I remove this GL account up to this, okay, let's delete this, which means now even I am not allowed to access anything related to finance. Now if I go to my Fiori Launchpad and if I try to refresh it, it will only show me some technical apps, but it will not show me anything related to general ledger accounting and cash manager. You can see it has been reduced a lot. If you see this, you can see all the consultant related roles, report designer, KPI, there is no GL, there is no cash manager, all those activities are gone. Okay, so even if you, there are a lot of things still I'm able to see, this is because I am assigned with this technical roles. So even if I want to delete these technical roles, even if I want to delete all these technical roles, I can just delete it and save it. So again, if I go and do the refresh, it will only show me very few apps which are related to the two roles which are still assigned to my ID. Okay, so if you see here, you can still see there are a lot of things. The reason is these two roles are a lot of things within it. So just for the sake of understanding, I will even delete these two roles which are assigned to me. You will be able to see that my Fiori Launchpad has completely become zero. Nothing is available in my Fiori Launchpad. System today, I don't know why it is getting disconnected for a few seconds again. Let's wait. Okay, so if I go to roles, okay, Raj has asked a question. Normally in SAP, we have a concept of SAP all, which means if I want to provide all the roles which are available to any particular user, okay, in ECC it was possible. If you see these profiles, this is where we assign SAP all access to a particular user. But just to answer your question, Raj, this SAP all is only related to old GUI. So even if you provide SAP all access to the user, from Fiori point of view, it will not work. From Fiori point of view, only these roles which are entered here, those will work. Raj, you got your answer? Okay. Okay, so now if I do refresh, you can see everything is gone because I deleted all the roles which were assigned to my user ID. Okay, everything is gone. See, there is no button also here. These are just my favorites which I created. It is just showing me, but again, this will also not work when I try to click on any particular application. So nothing in Vikram, nothing in favorites, nothing. Everything is gone. Now I want to assign my user ID with the roles which are related to purchasing. So again, I will go to user maintenance, go to the change mode and go to roles. So since I know which role is relevant to purchasing, I'm just assigning here, but I'll tell you how you will know which role I should assign as a purchaser. So SAP underscore BR underscore purchaser and SAP BR underscore buyer. These are the two important roles which are related to purchasing. Okay, so I'm assigning these two roles to my user ID, and from the sales point of view, I'm assigning SAP underscore BR underscore, I think it is internal sales representative. So you can click on this and enter the description. So star sales star representative star. So these are the roles related to internal sales representatives. So I think this one should work. Okay, so this role I assign to my user ID. If I go to my Fiori Launchpad now and try to refresh this, it will show me those applications which are related to purchaser and those applications which are related to sales. So now it should show me the way how to create a purchase order. You can see now procurement related things, supplier evaluation, purchasing analytics. So these are all purchasing related apps. Okay, so if you want to process the purchase order, you can see sales orders. Okay, similarly, if you come down, you will be able to see purchase orders also. You can see purchase requisition processing, purchase order processing. So if I click on purchase order processing, you can see here create purchase order or manage purchase orders. Okay, there is no T code here. You have to click on this manage purchase order and it will open this new screen of creating the purchase orders. You can see comparatively, it is very, very easy to create a new purchase order. Okay, so if I want to create a new purchase order, I will click on this create button. Okay, you can see the screen is comparatively simpler than what screen we were getting in the traditional GUI. Okay, although here also there are many fields, but again, if you compare, it is not even 20% of the fields which are available in old GUI. Right, we will talk about this in detail. In the purchasing session, we will talk about purchase order. In the sales session, we will talk about the sales orders and all. But what I want to give you at this moment is, this is how SAP Fiori looks like, and this is how it is different than the traditional GUI. So what you understood till now? You understood that in SAP S4 HANA, there are two ways to perform the transaction. If you want to create a purchase order, for example, you can create a purchase order using old GUI. You can use the same transaction that you were using from years, that is ME21N. So this option is open. If you want to use it, you can use it. The other way to create a purchase order is using Fiori. Okay, in Fiori, there is no transaction code, but you will be able to see the application. Application is simple to use, but in Fiori, you will be only able to see this particular application if the right roles are provided to you from the Fiori point of view. Right? If the role itself is not available, then you will not be able to see this application at all. So just remember, Fiori is a role-based. It is always called as Fiori is a role-based application. So there are 2-3 characteristics of Fiori. Number one, simple to use. Number two, it is role-based. Okay, there are some others also which we will keep on introducing whenever we will see the practical scenarios. Okay, as of now, just remember Fiori is simple and it is completely role-based.
Vikram?
Yeah.
Yeah, can I assign roles in Fury directly? Means I don't have to go to GUI.
Yes, for Fiori, as I told you, some of the applications are provided from Fiori also. So even if you want to change the user, you can do it Fiori itself. But for that, you need to assign the role related to the security person because they are responsible to assign the role.
Okay, so as a functional consultant, we don't have that access.
As a functional consultant, even we don't have the access to SU01 also. In traditional GUI also, if you try your production system or if you try your customer system, in there also you don't have the access to SU0.
Yeah, in quality we do have, so that's why I was asking. So can we
Same thing.
uh
So Akshay, if you have the access in quality, you can ask your security consultant to provide the access in Fiori also. As long as they are providing, you will be able to see. If they are not providing, you will not be able to see.
okay.
So currently, your quality in the quality system, you are. Akshay, can you just mute yourself? There is some background noise. Yeah. As long as your security consultant has provided you the SU01 access in quality, he will not mind by providing you the access through Fiori also, because ultimately it is the process is same. If he is allowing you to change your user ID, you can do it from Fiori also, and you can do it from the traditional GUI also.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay. So again, in Fiori also, you can create your favorites. Okay, similar to what we have done in traditional GUI. You can see you have the favorites here. Whatever you want to add into your favorites, you can do. Even you can create your own groups. You can see I created this own group. How to do this? So number one, I will show you how to create a new group. So if you want to change anything, if you want to move the tile from here to here or want to play with this one, what you can do is you can just go to where is my user? So home screen. It is taking time. Let's go to SAP. No, I think here. Yeah, sorry, I was getting some disturbance here. So this is a user. What you need to do is you need to. What is happening? Just give me a minute. This one. Yeah. So on this user, you have to click on this user, and here you have to click on edit the home page. This is called as a home page, and if you want to edit the look and feel of your home page, you can click on this edit home page. Okay, you can see it is allowing you to delete something. It is allowing you to add a particular tile if you want, right? So for example, if I want to add something in my favorites, I will click on this add, and it will give me the list of all those, whatever is, you can see whatever is already highlighted, this is already available as your favorite. So for example, I want to add create purchase order or manage purchase order as my favorites. What I'll do is I will go to purchase order processing, this one, and this create purchase order, I will click on this. What it is saying? Okay, it has been added to the favorites. So if I go back and if I see my favorites, you can see create purchase order has been added to my favorites. Same way, if I want to add a new group, you can see add a group button here. Okay, if I want to add a group, click on add group. It will ask you the group name. So let's say the group name is Gaurav. Okay, and within this group, whatever applications you want to add, you can click on this app finder again. Let's say this time I want to assign a sales order. So within sales, I will go to sales order processing. This is sales order processing, and within this, I want to create a sales order. I want to change the sales order. I want to display the sales order. I want to manage the sales order. So these four applications, along with this analytics, I want to show this also under the group Gaurav. Okay, so now if I go back, you'll be able to see there is a new group created with Gaurav, and within this Gaurav, these are the applications which are available. If you
We
want
can
to
see the
delete,
technical names as well now, Vikram.
no, technical names are only available for older applications. See, the problem is these are the new applications, manage sales orders. Okay, but in
Ah,
addition to the new applications, some of the applications are coming from the old system. So if you click on
I
this, it is not a simplified one. It is exactly same as what you were able to see in ECC. I'll show you.
Okay. Okay.
So once you make your changes, you have to close this. Okay, so now you are in the display mode. So now, for example, this is VA01. If I open this, see, if you compare this new one with old one, you will be able to see a lot of changes. So this manage sales order, for example, this is a new application which allows you to create, change, display everything in single screen. But if you still want to go for the older application, you can click on create sales order. It will just open the same screen that you are able to see in traditional GUI. It is just a web version of the same screen, right? You can see everything is same. So this is not a simplified application. This is just a copy of the existing application.
Yeah,
So there are some applications in Fiori, which is nothing but just a copy of traditional GUI. So for that, you will be able to see the transaction codes.
I see. And Vikram, will you provide us the access for Fiori as well, or is just the?
Yes, yes, that is part
Okay.
of the server itself. You'll be getting
I see.
this.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Whatever I am able to do, I will try to give you the same server so that you will be also able to do the same thing in your server also. Okay. So this is how you can change, even you can change the theme. Okay. So for example, again, if I go to my user and if I click on edit home page, okay, this is edit home page, not this one. Let's go to settings. Yeah, you can see from here appearance. So these are the different themes, colors and all. So currently this light color is used. If I click on this and click on apply or save, you would be able to see the new color combination. You can see now the color is dark. Okay, same way if you want black and white, so you can go to settings. Again, you can go to appearance and from here high contrast black or high contrast white. Okay, so if I go with this one, you can see everything is white. Right, so these are the different themes which are supported as of today, and based on your need, based on your preferences, you can come here and you can change according to your convenience. Okay, apart from this, I think at this moment we don't need to go into details because anyways we are going to see all these transactions when we go to the processes.
Hello, Vikram.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do we have a SPRO tile in Fury, or because I can see there are sales configuration tile, and then again
No.
purchase.
There is no SPRO tile. There is no SPRO tile for configurations also. Let me show you if it is allowing me now because I removed that roles. I have to assign that roles if I want to see the configuration. So it will not show you the entire SPRO. It will just show you some only those configurations which are allowed from this Fiori screen. It will not give you the complete SPRO.
Okay,
Okay,
so
now
it
it is not allowed.
will be
We
role
will
based,
see.
correct?
Sorry,
It will be role based,
it will be role based. Obviously, if I assign the role, see earlier it was appearing. Now it is not appearing at all. Why it is
correct?
not appearing? Because I removed those old roles related to configuration.
Okay, so if I get a error and I want to change it, so I have to go to GUI or I have to go to that console
So
log.
depending upon the role, if the role is provided to you, you can come here and you can do that. Let me now show you how will you know which roles to assign. Okay, so for that, let me take you to, if you remember last time, I shown you SAP best practices. Okay, but as you are saying that you are not able to access those best practices, let me try to do one thing. Just give me a minute. I will open one file which I told you that I'll be sharing with you the best practices for some of the applications. So if I open the, I'm not sharing my screen, I'm just trying to open one of the file which is related to best practices. So let's go to J58. Yeah. Okay, please confirm if you are able to see my screen once again.
Yes.
Okay. So this is what I mean to say when I'm talking about the best practice. This is a best practice documentation which is from SAP. So you can see this is the best practices for accounting and financial close. Okay, this kind of documents you would be able to download from the best practices. Okay, so for sales, for purchase, if you remember last week, we have seen within sales there are a lot of scenarios, within purchasing there are a lot of scenarios. So you can download those files from that particular link. Okay, if you're not able to do, I will be providing these files. Now, although this is public, so normally it should be available to all, but I'm not sure why SAP is restricting it. Okay, anyways, so if you see here, the first thing itself is roles. Before any test script starts, it tells you what roles are required to be provided to the business users so that they can carry out these transactions. So you can see these are the roles for general ledger accountant. If I want to see all the applications related to general ledger, if I want to see all the applications related to accounts payables, these are the roles I need to assign to my user ID. Okay, so let me copy these roles. If I assign these roles to my user ID, I'll be able to see all the transactions related to general ledger accounting. Similarly, if you open the best practice document for sales, for purchasing, it will show you all those roles which are required to be provided to the end user so that he is able to do the transaction. But if you see the last one, this is related to the configuration expert, business process configuration. So if I provide this role to my user, I'll be able to see something related to configuration. Whatever is available in this role, all those things I'll be able to see under my Fiori screen. Okay, so this is my user ID. I will go to roles and I will assign this role to my user ID. Okay, configuration expert. So now if I save it, as of now, I'm not able to see anything related to configuration, but let's try to refresh this. Now it will show me some applications which are related to config. So only if it is allowed, you will be able to see the applications related to config. Let's see, is there anything related to configuration now? You can see sales configuration. Okay, there would be purchase configuration. Yeah, purchasing configuration. So these are all the things which are added because I provided additional role. So let's go to the sales configuration. Let's see what configurations are allowed. Within sales configuration, there is only one, manage sales document workflows. Okay, which is relevant for the approval process. Let's see configuration of purchasing, what exactly it is allowing. So as I told you, it will not allow you the full-fledged. It will only allow you few applications which you can configure from Fiori. Otherwise, most of the other things you can still do via traditional GUI. See, in purchasing, there are a lot of things. So if you want to set up the releasing strategy, instead of going through the old GUI, you can do it from here itself. Okay, apart from this, manage the item catalog, situation types. So these are all new functionalities. If you see, this is not an old configuration. These are all the new functionalities which are provided by SAP in S4 HANA. And that is the reason those configurations are available on Fiori. But for old functionalities which are already there in ECC, still most of the time we will be using SPR.
And also, Vikram, there's no way to look at tables in Fiori, is it?
There is a way to look at the tables. I'll show you, but that we will see when we'll do the transactions.
I see. Okay.
It is possible. You can see that also. Okay, Akshay, your question is answered now.
Yes.
So, in short, what I mean to say is, as a consultant, for some time, we still need to use SPRO itself. Okay, but going forward, once see everything is developing. We already understood this S4 HANA itself is a developing product. Every yearly SAP is coming up with a new version where they are providing the better functionality. So the current scope, what is the target of SAP? SAP don't want to sell the SAP product to the consultants, right? Consultants are the kind of helping hand to support the end users. Ultimately, SAP wants to come up with those solutions which are accepted by the end users. So complete focus now currently is how to make the life easy for the end users. Once that part is done, then only SAP will think how the configurations also can be done 100% from Fiori itself. So that will definitely come, but it will take time because first priority is bringing those features which are being used by the customers. Right, Akshay?
Yes, correct. Yeah, got it. First customer first.
Right. Okay. Any other questions that you have on Fiori? Okay, one last thing before I close Fiori topic. So if you want to see the list of all those Fiori applications, okay, first of all, I told you this, the first thing that you would use is best practices. So if you see the best practice document, if you just come down, you'll be able to see step-by-step process. I think I explained you last week also. So you will get a list of all those applications, okay, which you need to execute in Fiori. So you can see even this manage your solution. This manage your solution is nothing but a configuration application which is provided by SAP. Okay, it will allow you to configure your solution. But as I told you, normally we use this in cloud because in cloud you don't have any option. In cloud, you don't have the SPRO access. So when you don't have the SPRO access, the only option you are left with is you have to do all the configurations using Fiori. But when it comes to on-premise, normally this manage your solution we don't use, we use SPRO directly. Okay, so this is configuration, and then when you start doing the transactions, I'm just trying to show you postings, any transaction that you want to do. Okay, all these topics, whatever are written in the best practices, this is what we are going to discuss in detail, module by module. So this particular file which I'm showing you, this will be covered completely in FI. Same way, the files related to MM and SD, those will be covered in MM and SD modules. Okay, so for example, this manage journal entry. This is an application which will allow you to post the accounting entry. So SAP is saying that in order to do this transaction, you have to go to manage journal entries application. Okay, so you will come here in SAP Fiori and you will try to access manage journal entry. You can click on search also because there are a lot of applications. If you're not able to find it, you can just click on search and just write here manage journal. Okay, if you just write, if it is possible, it will show you here itself, or you can write the full one, that is also fine. Why it is not showing? Manage journal spelling is correct, entries. So it is not showing as of now. Click on search, let's see if it is showing something. Normally it shows here itself. You can see it is not available. So I'm not able to get this manage journal entries screen. Now what should I do? What does it mean? If this is not appearing, if this is part of, if it is part of the base practices, it is clearly written manage journal entries. This is application. And this application I'm not able to open here. It is saying that we are not able to find. What could be the reason?
Finance role is not assigned to your user ID.
We assign the finance role, but again, within finance, there is not only single role, there are a lot of roles. So the role which is related to this particular application may not be assigned to our user ID, right?
Yes, yes.
So how can I find out which role I should assign to my user so that he is able to perform this transaction. One option is you can again go to this itself. So you can see it is clearly showing you log on to SAP Fiori Launchpad as a general ledger accountant. So this is a role, but this is just a description of the role. It is not giving the exact role which I need to assign. So what you can do is, again, you can go to the role section and you can see which role is related to general ledger accountant. So you will go up in the roles section. Okay, and general ledger accountant is this role, SAP _ BR _ GL _ accountant. So let me copy this role. I think this I already assigned, but let's see. So if I copy this role and go to my SAP user maintenance, and if I go to roles, yes, exactly. We are not assigned anything related to finance. So if I enter this, now it will definitely work. So if I try to refresh this, manage journal entries will definitely appear now. If it is taking time, even you can try writing here also. Manage journal, it will be visible here itself. So I'll do one thing. In the search, manage you can see manage journal entries. Not only this role is having a lot of other things also which are related to manage journal entries. So if I open this, this will get opened. So this is one way. This is one way of finding out which role I need to provide to my user to provide the access. Okay, so if you have the best practice documentation available with you, you can find it immediately. But let's assume you are at remote place and you don't have this file also, and you don't have the user ID and password also. What you will do in that case? So in that case, simply go to Google and write SAP Fiori apps library. SAP Fiori apps library. Just press enter and open this Fiori apps library. Okay, this is the link from SAP where all the applications along with complete details is provided on Fiori. Okay, so once you are here, you will say all apps for SAP S4 HANA. Okay, and here you will click on all apps and you have the search button here. So what you will write, manage journal entries. Okay, you can see it is showing you manage GL account documents, manage, why it is not showing the main one, manage journal entries. It should show actually, maybe the application that I selected is wrong. Okay, instead of this, I'll directly go to all apps. I will not go to S4 HANA and all, I'll just click on all apps and manage journal entries. It is still showing this 3. Normally it should show the 4th one also, which is manage journal entry only. Sorry, you can see manage GL documents / manage journal entry. So this one itself. So if you open this, okay, and you have to click on, see, it is giving you complete information. What is the purpose of this application? What are the features it provides, right? If you click on this implementation information, it will ask you in which system you want to implement it. Okay, so you have to select your version properly. So you can see this application is available from 15.11 onwards. 15.11, 16.10, 17.09, 18.09, and now 19.09. And there are service packs. So once the 15.11 was available, before 16.10, there were some enhancement which SAP made, and those were available in service packs. So you can see with every version, there are 2 service packs. Okay, and now maybe in another 1 or 2 months, we can expect 20.09 also, latest version. Okay, so this is where you would be able to see the version. Now, if you come down in configuration, you would be able to see the roles. Okay, you can see business roles to be assigned to the end user so that he is able to access this application. So this application is accessible by accounts payables, accounts receivables, and GL accounts. So any of this role. If I assign this role, then I'll be able to see this screen. If I assign this role, then also I'll be able to see the same screen. If I assign this role, then also I'll be able to see manage journal entries. So this is a very important link, SAP Fiori apps library. This is a very important link which will help you to track a particular application and to know which particular role should be assigned to the user so that he is able to see that particular application. Now, luckily here, manage journal entries you found out, but let's assume you are coming from ECC world and you don't know which is the corresponding application I should use. For example, I want to create a purchase order or I want to create a sales order, but I don't know which application I should use in Fiori. So what you can do is you can just write VA01 because you know this was a transaction code in ECC to create a sales order. When you select VA01 and click on search, it will show you all those relevant apps which are related to sales order. So you can see these are the different applications. So you will select which one is more relevant to you. Okay, you can see debit memo, contract, create sales order, everything is appearing here. So if I click on this, okay, so these are all the applications together. And if I want to assign this role, which role I should assign? So you will again go to configuration and here you'll be able to see the roles. This is exactly what we provided to our user, right? So these are the roles under which these applications would be available. Okay, you can search by transaction code, or if you know the application name, you can enter the application name directly. Clear on this? Any questions?
Hello. Yes, sir. I have a question.
Yeah, Tushar.
Sir, actually, as of now, I can understand whatever the configuration by functional configuration we have to do in the GUI only, GUI only, and that will be
Sorry?
appear. So whatever the configuration is of from the functional side, we have to do in GUI only,
GUI,
GUI,
yes, yes.
and that will be appear in Flori. Means your
Yes. Those, see, that is the presentation. Again, just take the same example. You book the ticket. It is irrelevant whether you book the ticket from website or you book the ticket from application. Ultimately, it is going to the same database. Okay,
but
Tushar?
you but you told that after the 5 year there is no use of GUI, so it will means.
Yes. So going forward, maybe after 3, 4, 5 years, everybody would be using Fiori only. Even as a consultant also, most of the configurations we can do from Fiori itself.
Okay.
Can I use SAP S4HANA without Fiori?
Yes, Ikram, you can use.
We can use, right? Only thing is
Yeah.
there are few features. There are very few features which are new, which are only applicable in S4HANA. So those new features, if you want to use, you have to use on Fiori only. There are some features which are only available on Fiori, mainly new features. Okay, so technically, yes, we can use SAP S4HANA without Fiori. We can continue to use our old GUI if a customer wants. But there are some features which are only available on Fiori. So if you're not using Fiori, you will not be able to use those particular features. Is it mandatory to use Fiori? So this kind of the questions may be asked when you go outside. Is it mandatory to use Fiori?
It's a choice
No,
of the customer.
It is a
it
choice
depends.
of a customer. But again, the answer would be same. It is choice of a customer. We will definitely recommend customer to use it because it is look and feel wise, it is better than the old GUI. But if a customer decides no in phase 1, they just want to upgrade to S4 HANA, in phase 2, they will be using Fiori, completely fine. But only thing is we need to tell them which of the features they will not be able to use if they are not using Fiori in phase 1.
Like
Right?
for example, which feature they can't use it, Vikram?
There are a lot of those, Deepak. So that we have to understand module wise. For example, if I talk from the finance point of view, there are features like if you go for advanced planning or if you go for cash management.
I see.
Okay, so these are the features which are only available through Fiori. Even the bank account creation is only available from Fiori. So, but for just for one application, we don't want customer to go for Fiori. We can tell, okay, one of the application we can use Fiori, but others you have to use using traditional GUI. But still, there are many new features which are coming from SAP which are only supported in Fiori. So from finance point of view, I give you the example of cash management. From logistics point of view, there are features like advanced ATP, back order processing. So those features are only available on Fiori. You'll not be able to use those features if you are using traditional GUI.
So in cloud only version, we'll have both UI and Fiori.
No. Cloud version, we only have Fiori. We don't have old GUI.
So how would consultant give only the do the configuration?
Right. So if you are using SAP Cloud, SAP S4 HANA Cloud, in that case, the consultant has lot of restrictions. He can do only few configurations, not all the configurations which are available in SPRO. So only those configurations which are allowed to be done on cloud, those are available via Fiori. SPRO
But
access will not be possible.
the SPRO access will won't be there for the
SPRO
consultant.
access, see again, Saurabh, the answer is SPRO access will not be provided to the customer. So if you are working for customer, see, you are a consultant. You will be working for the customer. If you are working for the customer, you will not get the SPRO access. But in the background, who is managing cloud? From whom you got the cloud access? From SAP, right? SAP will also be having their own consultants who will be doing all this setup in the background. So they may use SPRO from the background, but it will not be available for the customers. So if you are asking the question, then how will I create the company code, sales organization and all? So those things which are allowed, you can still do via SAP Fiori. But those things which are not allowed, for example, if you want to change something at the client level, so for that you have to request SAP to do it from the background. They will be doing it if they found out that this is something which will not impact other customers. Understood, Saurabh?
Yes, partially, but SPRO thing you'll have to explain me once again because you're saying SPRO access to a consultant won't be there, so he'll have to. No, any specific configuration obviously can't be done, but we'll have to reach out to SAP for if something
Exactly.
has to
So
be done.
what happens in the cloud world is the configurations are divided into two parts. If you are using on-premise system, configuration is configuration, right? But if you are using cloud, there are two types of configurations. One is self-service configuration. Self-service configuration means SAP has provided you your apps and you can do it on your own as a customer. Second is expert configuration. Expert configuration means you cannot do. As a customer, you cannot do. If you want, you have to ask SAP. SAP experts will be doing that configuration only if it is approved. So it is not like I am telling them to do and they will do it. They will see whether if I do this, what impact it will have on the other customers. Right?
Correct.
Only if there is no impact, they will do it for you. So it is divided into two parts, self-service configuration and expert configuration. For self-service configurations, customers are allowed to do it using SAP Fiori applications. For expert configuration, SAP consultants may use Fiori or may use SPR because they have access to everything. Understood, Saurabh?
So the consultant on cloud has SPRO.
May have, yes. They are the owners. If you understand the on-premise versus cloud, in case of on-premise, customer is the owner of the system, so he has all the access. In case of cloud,
On-prem is clear, right? He will have. Only confusion was on the cloud part and the I am a FICO consultant on and having a cloud version. Do I have SPRO access or
no. If you are a consultant and if you are working from the customer side, you don't have the access to SPRO. If you are a consultant working for SAP and supporting a customer who is using your cloud solution, then you may have the SPRO access.
correct? SAP guys would consultants would keep it with
Yes,
themselves,
because
not giving
ultimately
it to
SAP
the
is the
customer.
owner.
Right.
SAP is the
Yes.
owner. SAP don't have any
They would obviously have. Right.
right.
So we will be learning like what as a customer we will get it from Fury, and as a consultant from the cloud perspective, what we are going to get as we get the
Sorry, Nagesh, can you come again?
like now SPRO you mentioned, like if a consultant is working from the SAP, I mean to say as a owner of the cloud, he will have certain access credentials. So if I am a customer using that cloud, I'll be having a certain credentials with me. So will going forward, will we be knowing what as a customer I'll be getting, and as a cloud consultant I'll be getting.
Right, exactly. See, as a consultant, you should know all the configurations. If SPRO is not available, if you need to do it from Fiori, that should not be the challenge for you. Right? Ultimately, you know what is the objective of that configuration, and if I'm not able to do, definitely I will request SAP, but at least I should know what would be the consequence of the configuration that I'm asking SAP to do.
So what all will be there in self-service and what all will be there in the expert service? I mean, going forward, while we are doing the respective configurations, we'll be understanding those things, isn't it?
No, see, we in our course we are going to understand on-premise completely. If you
Okay.
want to understand cloud, I can provide you some document. But otherwise, see, if you understand on-premise, it covers everything. Only
Okay.
thing is, if you are on cloud, then you have the restrictions. So
Okay.
for those
So
restrictions,
I need not have to worry if I learn on-premise. I need not have to worry regarding the cloud at all, right?
100.
I can, as I know the processes and all those things, I can very well understand whether it is my duty or is it is an expert service or self-service, isn't it? That's what you mean to say.
Yes. If you know the entire end-to-end configuration, irrespective of whether you get a chance to work with SAP or you get a chance to work with a customer, you will be able to do it.
Right. Hmm.
Because on-premise, see, cloud is kind of subset of on-premise. Ultimately, on-premise is a solution which comes first, and based on that, those features are provided on cloud, right? So ultimately, the features which are developed, those you need to understand. Same features with some restrictions will be available to the cloud customers.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, but there are few you said that available only on Fury. So they are kind of forcing a customer to use Fury.
Definitely. It is not forcing. See, going forward, see, SAP is also investing a lot in building a new product. And if you are saying that after 3 years, every customer will use Fiori, then why should I invest on traditional GUI? If I'm bringing some new functionality, if I'm using some new hardware, new software to build a new functionality, then why should I worry whether this will be available in traditional GUI or not? SAP is already providing you Fiori. It is not a separate licensing product. You can use it now itself. But if a customer still says, no, I don't want to use Fiori, then unnecessarily SAP is not going to develop on the traditional GUI, right? So they are not forcing. They are providing you better features. It is up to you whether you want to use those features or you want to stick to the old GUI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what about reports? Can we get those from, because customer require a lot of custom reports for their purpose. So Can we get that from Fiori?
You see, one is standard report, second is custom report. Okay, so what is a standard report? Standard reports are those reports which are already pre-delivered by SAP. So even in Fiori also, there are many reports, even the reports which I'm talking about, you not have even seen in traditional system. Okay, so for example, are you able to see this kind of dashboard in ECC, in old GUI? Are you able to see what is my total risk? 8.88 million euro is the risk. Is this something which is possible in old GUI?
No.
These are the completely new analytical reports which were never possible in the traditional GUI. This you are only getting on Fiori. So in Fiori, you are getting a lot of reports which are comparatively better than the traditional old GUI in terms of standard. In addition to standard, if you have a reporting requirement which is not provided by SAP, then normally what we do in old GUI, we create those reports. We take the help of developer, a web team, and we create those reports. If you, again, in S4 HANA, if you want some new reports, you have to first decide whether this report would be available in old GUI or you want to develop this report which can be accessed from Fiori. So if it has to be accessed from Fiori, you also need to create a custom report for Fiori, which means you need to involve the Fiori developer also. In addition to ABAP, you need to involve Fiori consultant also to create that custom report. So choice is available. Again, just to answer your question, if you want to create a custom report, you have to first decide whether you want to see this custom report from old GUI or new GUI. If you want to use it from old GUI, no Fiori required, you can just use ABAPer and he will create a report for you. If that report is required from Fiori point of view also, then definitely along with ABAP, you need to involve Fiori consultant who will be developing that Fiori report. Clear, Akshay?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, what about others? There are few participants who are not speaking out at all. Please speak out if you have anything, any doubt in mind. Don't hesitate that this is a very small doubt or this is something which is very basic. If you are not able to understand any particular thing, please open up.
Yeah, Vikram, you
Ritika?
said that you will
Yeah.
show about the table, that how to check the table.
No, not now, Deepak. That we
Oh,
will
I
see
see.
when the process is. Yeah.
Oh, I
In
see. I
a,
thought it's a straightforward. Okay, no, okay, fine.
we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ritika, any questions? Pawan?
No, Gaurav, I am good.
Okay. What about, yeah, Ritika? No questions?
No.
Okay. Swati?
Good, Vikram.
Okay. What about Vivek? I think, Vivek, today you are silent. Any questions?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. Okay. No problem. So what we will do now is maybe I will not start enterprise structure today because we are not left with much time. But one important thing which we can discuss now is the landscape. I think we have still not discussed the landscape, right? The development, quality, and production system.
No.
Am I right? Yeah. Let's utilize this time and discuss that then. Okay. So SAP landscape. What do you mean by landscape? Normally, SAP landscape consists of three different systems: development system, quality system, and production system. Okay. So maybe someone who has not worked on SAP at all, I want to make it clear to them what exactly is development, quality, and production. Some of you, if you got any even a small experience, you must be knowing what exactly is this landscape. So see, what happens is, whenever your customer is doing day-to-day transactions, okay, so for example, if your customer is Amazon, and Amazon is on day-to-day basis, they are creating the purchase orders, they are creating the sales orders, they are generating the bills and all. So those transactions are normally done in the production system. These are the three different SAP systems. As I told you, when you will be working on a customer's environment, you would be getting three different servers, at least three different servers here. One would be development, quality, and production. Okay, so three different servers will be provided to you: development, quality, and production, out of which the customer actual transactions can be done only in the production system. Okay, production system is a system on which your day-to-day transactions will be carried out by your end users. Then why do we need the quality and development? What is the purpose of development and quality? As a consultant, whenever you are working on the system, whatever changes you are doing, for example, if you want to set up a new company code, or if you want to set up a new purchasing organization or the sales organization, so whatever setup you want to do, you will never touch the production system directly. Whatever setups, whatever activities you do in SPRO, in short, you will not do anything in SPRO directly in the production system, because production system is being used continuously. So for example, if a user is doing the transactions in the production system, and if I as a consultant logged in SPRO and done some changes, and that has resulted in some errors, let's assume Amazon business, even if it is down for 10 minutes, how much is the business loss? Are you getting it? So even if 10 minutes Amazon website is down, just think about this. What is the total business loss? Million, billion dollars, right? So we never want to touch the production system. As a consultant, we are supporting the business so that they can work smoothly, and that is the reason we will not unnecessarily do anything in the production system. Okay, because at any moment we don't want our production system to suffer because we have done some small mistake. Okay, so what should be done is, we are never given the access to the production system. We will not do anything in production system as a consultants. Whatever activities we do, we will do in the development system. So whenever we want to add any new functionality, or whenever we want to adjust existing functionality, we will go into the development system. In the development system, we will be provided the SPRO access. So whatever you want to do in SPRO, you can do in the development system. This is a system which should be kind of a taste system. Okay, so whatever you do here, you have to first taste it on your own. Okay, just take an example. A new company you want to set up. Okay, this is already, let's say Amazon is already doing the business from last 20 years. SAP is already being used by this customer from last 20 years. Now Amazon wants to add a new company code. They have acquired a new company and they want to bring this new company in their SAP system. I will not directly go and do in the production, because if something goes wrong, the business will not be able to continue. The system will not be able to get the new orders and the website can go down, right? And that is the reason we don't want to touch the production. What we will do is we will create that company in the development system. Okay, and once we created that company in the development system, we will do end-to-end testing, whether it is working fine or not, whether whatever is the business requirement customer has gave, whether those things are working fine as per the requirements or not. So many times you will find, no, it is not working. So again, you will make some changes. Again, you will test. Again, you will make changes. So it is not a very straightforward activity. You need to do a lot of iterations. So you will do something, you will test, you will find, no, it is not working as required. Again, you will make the changes. Again, you will test. But ultimately, once you complete your iteration cycle, you will finally decide that, yes, it seems that whatever was required has been achieved. So Once you are 100% sure that yes, this is exactly what was asked by the business and we have developed it, we have created that in this development system, then you will move this thing to the quality system. What is the purpose of the quality system? In the quality system, the actual business users will test before it is coming to the production. They will test here itself and they will verify whether it is matching the quality requirements or not, whether it is matching the business requirements or not. If it is not matching, then they will not move it to the production. Only if it matches in the quality, then only that part will be moved to the production system. Right? Because we don't want to move any errors into the production because it has a huge impact. If you move something wrong into the production, as I told you, even if 5 minutes of business system down, you cannot expect how much would be the business loss and who would be responsible. You would be responsible as a consultant. That is the reason this production system should not be touched. Development system is a system where you will be doing all your configurations, you will test it, and from development system you will move the things to the quality. You will ask the users to check in the quality. Why you are asking them? Why you are not moving directly from development to production? Let's assume you have done some changes here. You have tested everything is working fine as per your understanding, and you, after your testing, you moved into the production system, and due to some reason it resulted into the error in the production system. Who would be responsible? Who will take the who will be the responsible person for this big error? What do you think? Who has done these changes? You have done it, right?
Consultant.
Consultant will be blamed, right? Because consultant has made some changes, right? Consultant will be blamed that you moved wrong changes and that is the reason it resulted in error. Okay. The problem would be what the production users will tell that we have given some requirements. Consultant has understood it wrongly. They have developed something and they moved it to the production, and that is the reason it resulted into the problem. So what is the right approach? What should we do? That is the reason there is a quality system in between. What is the purpose of the quality system? As a consultant, whatever activities I have done in development, I have copied that in the quality. It is business users' responsibility to check this in quality. Okay, as a consultant, my responsibility is moving from development to quality. Okay, if anything goes wrong in quality, no problem. It is a testing server, no need to worry. So it is the business user, even if he finds some error, there is no business loss. If he's finding any errors, he will come back to the consultant and tell them, okay, this is not meeting my requirement, please make this necessary changes. Again, consultant will make the necessary changes. Again, it will transfer to quality. Again, the business user will test it. If it is not fitting the requirement, again, it will send back. Again, this person will make the changes. So these iterations can go till the time user is not saying that it is matching my business requirements. Only when business user confirms, only when, this is very important, only when business user confirms that yes, now it is meeting my business requirements, then only it will move from quality to production. Now let's assume once it is moved to production, it resulted into error. Who is responsible? Who is to be blamed?
Business user.
Business user. Why? Because development was the responsibility of a consultant. Whatever testing was needed in the development, consultant has done it. After this, consultant has moved those changes in the quality. In the quality, who has given the go ahead that yes, everything is meeting my business requirement? It was a business user. If a business user has not tested it properly and he said yes, everything is meeting my requirement, move to production, there is nothing wrong like there is no blame to be done on the consultant, because the business user has told you to move it to the production after testing it. If they have not tasted, if they have taken it lightly, anything, so consultant will not be blamed at all. This is completely the responsibility of a end user to perform the quality checks, quality testing. So this is very important. Whenever you are working on the project, till the time your customer, your end user is not giving you formal communication. Okay, it may be the ticketing tool, it may be the mail, it may be anything. Till the time your customer is not saying you that yes, I have tested it, it is meeting my business requirements, till that time it should not be moved into the production system. So if it is a big company, there are lot of checks which are performed before the data is moved from quality to production. There are a lot of protocols that you have to follow. So they will not allow anything to move from quality to production. They will ask the business user to submit a lot of UAT documents, then only they move to the production. But normally in the smaller companies, because there are no protocols, there are no documentations. Okay, so what happens is just a verbal communication. Yes, I have checked in quality, move it to the production. So these verbal communications are big risk. So even if you are working in a small company, you should always ask your customer to provide a formal mail, if not more, just a formal mail that I have tested and you can move to the production. Don't go with the verbal conversations. Okay, that is something which you should take care. Otherwise, what happens is it is not you who are blamed. Ultimately, it is your company which should be blamed. So if you are working for any consulting company and you are working with the customer system, ultimately that company will get all the blame that the consultants they have sent are not worthy and unnecessarily they have created a business issue. So just make sure your quality system is in between. Quality system is a system which would be used by your business users to verify that whatever changes you have done in development, whether they are meeting the business requirements or not. If they are not meeting the business requirements, again, you will do some changes in the development. You will push it to the quality, end user will verify it, and only when he confirms that yes, move it to the production, then only you will move it to the production. So if you have that mail that I have tested it, move it to the production, then it is not your responsibility. Whatever goes wrong, even if the system is down for 3 days, you are not at risk because you already got a formal communication that this has been agreed and then only you moved it to the production. Okay, so you have development system, quality system, production system. Let me enter some important things here. So development system is used to perform all SPRO configurations whenever a new system is implemented or whenever an existing system is you can say adjusted, which means whatever functionalities are working, you want to adjust those to meet the new business requirements. Okay, so even if you are going for the new implementation, there is no production system at all. So you start with the development. So initially, let's say you are working on the new implementation project and it will take 1 year to complete the implementation. So on maybe after 3 months, you will get a development system. After 6 months, you will get a quality system. And after the 9 months only, you will be getting the production system. So even in the new implementation projects, you have to start from the development system itself. Okay, so development system is used to perform all SPRO configurations. Consultant is responsible for performing the configurations, doing the unit testing before sending the changes to quality. So as a consultant, If you directly move it to the quality, and if something goes wrong, although there is not huge impact, but still, team can tell you, have you not tested before moving to the quality? But that is not a big risk. Okay, obviously you should always test it before you move to the quality, but at least it is not a business risk. Okay, so it is always our responsibility to do the testing before you move into the quality. What is the quality system? This is a system, this is used by business users to verify the changes are meeting the business requirements. It is business users' responsibility to test each and every scenario and give the go ahead to move the changes to production. Okay, and lastly, the production system is used to carry out day-to-day business transactions. Okay, so normal day-to-day transactions are carried out in production system. This is a system which is actually being used by the management to generate the reports. Okay, so it is day-to-day business transactions and to generate various different reports. Clear on this? So what is development? What is quality? What is production? How the changes will move from development to quality and quality to production? So there is something called as transportation management. What do you mean by transport management? Moving the changes from development to quality and moving the changes from quality to production. This is part of basis activity. Okay, as a functional consultant, you will do the changes in development, you will check it, you will verify it if it is working or not. If it is working, you will go to the basis team and you will tell them, please move these changes from development to quality. Okay, so development to quality movement would be done by basis team. Same way, once it is tested in quality, once the business user has given you the go ahead and make these changes in the production system, again the transportation management team from basis will perform the transport from quality to production. Okay, clear? What is the difference between development, quality and production system? Any questions? Okay, if not, let me also introduce, Raj has mentioned some point in the chat screen. These are the minimum systems which are required. 3 systems are minimum systems which are required: development, quality and production. Now in addition to this, if a customer feels that there is a need of another system also, so now normally what they do is there is a training client which is a separate client. So if you want to provide a training to your business users, although you can conduct that training in the quality system also, but some customers will say, no, I don't want to touch my development, quality and production for the training. So they will create a separate training system. Okay, this will be a 4th system, but it will not be in this sequence. The sequence would be development, quality and production. This would be the independent system. Okay, and then one more is there which is called as pre-production. So normally pre-production and quality normally are used for the same purpose, just to verify that everything is fine, everything is working before the things are moved to the production. But 90% of the time, you will find development to quality, quality to production. In very rare cases, you will find that there are additional systems which are also part of the landscape. So when we say SAP landscape consists of at least 3 SAP systems. What are those 3 SAP systems? Number 1 is development, number 2 is quality, and number 3 is production. These are optional.
Is sandbox and free prod same?
These are all optional. So you can give whatever name you want. Those are all optional systems. So sandbox, this is also optional. What you said, pre?
Sandbox and
Prod is
quality are more or less the same, isn't it?
Yeah. See, as I told you, you can serve all the purpose from these 3, but there are some companies who will say, no, I want to give the training on some other system. I want to try my various different scenarios just for the testing purpose in the sandbox system. Before the data moves from quality to production, I want a pre-production system. So these are all additional things which are optional. These 3 are at least mandatory. When you are working on the on-premise system, these 3 are mandatory.
Can you tell something about the transportation IDs, please?
No, that we will see when we will do the transaction. We have still not done any transaction. So at this moment, it would be difficult for you to understand what is transport ID.
Okay, fine.
In the next session, when we will start doing the configuration in the system, enterprise structure, even if you create a company code, it will generate a transport ID.
Vikram.
Any changes? Oh, sorry, please go ahead.
I'll ask after. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
In ECC, we do have performance testing also, correct? So I don't think it will be required in HANA because it is, it's a high performing system, correct?
No. See, irrespective of whether it is HANA or ECC, if it is required, you can bring it into the HANA also. But again, that is optional. As I told you, there can be many other systems which you want to bring in for different purpose. But mandatory, these are the mandatory systems.
Okay.
You can name whatever. You can create your own name also, that I want this system for some other purpose. You can create that system. That is not a problem. But ultimately, that is not something which is mandatory. These are the only mandatory systems.
Understood.
Okay, we know this asking the question on the chat screen. If I have on-premise license and I'm hosting on AWS, then the customizations are allowed or not? What do you think?
Yes, I think
it is allowed.
Exactly. If it is a on-premise system, if you got a license of on-premise, you have the complete flexibility. You can use the customizations, you can use the SPRO. Only if you are getting S4HANA cloud license, then you don't have that flexibility. As long as you are having on-premise license, all the SPROs, configurations, customizations, you are the owner of that system. You can decide what you want to do out of that system.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? Okay, if not, I need one more session which would be common. Although I can take it individually now onwards, but why I want you all to be in that one session is, normally what happens is, this is a good chance that you will be able to understand the integrated scenarios. Normally what happens if you go for any training, even if you go for SAP training, if you are going for the MM training, you will be only told about the objects. The FI, SD integrations are not touched much. But since we are all together here, let's try to have one session common where we will understand the cross integrations also. Okay, so it should not happen that if I am consultant, if I even don't know what is a sales organization, that is fine with me. If I am a SD consultant, why should I know what is a company code? Definitely from the book's point of view is fine, but when it comes to the practicality, if you don't have basic idea of all these three modules, it would be very difficult to survive. And that is the reason I want one session which is common, where we at least understand the enterprise structure from the cross module point of view. And then once the enterprise structure is ready, we can distribute, we can segregate our batch into three parts. So there will be separate FI, separate and separate SD. So next Saturday session, we will keep it common. From Sunday onwards, we will bifurcate into three different batches. Okay, and again, as I told you, towards the end, once we complete all the module-specific settings, module-specific scenarios, then we will meet again towards the end of the course, where again there will be the common topics. For example, how to design the FS, how to migrate the data using LTMC, how system conversion projects works. So that is common for all.
Vikram, I have a question.
Yeah.
At the end of this training, can we write the exam for the certification, the basic one?
Definitely. Yes, for each module. So for example, if you are going for FI, you'll be able to write FI exam. If you are going for you will be able to write exam, and SD1 will write SD exam. That is definitely for sure.
Thank you.
Vikram, is SD and training also you are taking, is it? Or some other consultant?
Yes, Deepak, I am taking all three.
Oh, that's great. Wow.
Okay, so maybe if no other questions, we can stop here and we will meet next Saturday.
Will it be at 7:30 or 8:30 the coming Saturday?
Most probably 7:30, but if there is any change, I will confirm.
Thank you.
I prefer 8:30 one, Vikram, if possible, but that's not compulsion.
Yeah, if it is
Let's
possible.
do one thing. One common session we will continue at 8:30, and then we will decide. Because next one we need to adjust all the three batches before 12. Okay, so that is the reason we need to start a little bit earlier when we are.
Okay.
Next time at 8:30, not a problem.
Thank you.
Okay then. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Vikram. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.